up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for jumping into another video. Glad to have you back. My name is Josh, and I am just your average Joe day trader. Guys, what an incredible market day today, Wednesday, May 28th. The long-awaited date that you've heard me, if you've watched my videos, been talking about for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. Nvidia earnings day. And I got to tell you guys, it did not disappoint. The Nvidia earnings results were incredible. We're going to take a look at that together. Now, what's interesting about that is that Nvidia is famous for having earnings, but going the opposite direction and actually running strongly red down. And I actually at one point thought that was the case because they were running pretty strong up through into the post market. And from about 4 p.m. until about 4:30 p.m., there was nothing. There was some green, a little bit of red, and then boom, rocket ship. Elon Musk would have been so proud of Nvidia's launch process because it was absolutely stunning. And we're going to look at that in a couple minutes. We're also going to spend a few minutes going through the best stocks for day trading. You guys know that I've created this watch list based on the list of stocks that I've shared with you over the last several videos. Several of them have performed unbelievably well, and I was able to make some really good money out of several of those stocks. Some of them not so much. Some of them have really been less than exciting. So first, let's get into the charts, and I'm going to show you guys right here. Let's start with the S&P 500. You guys can see that we closed the market last night around $591 or 5,910 points. And it ran through the post market and kind of had a bit of a downtrend through until early morning. It opened up and then it ran up in the pre-market. And then I'm just going to show you this. The S&P 500 kind of spent a lot of the day dropping, really considerably dropping. And I'm going to tell you, the same thing happened for APLD, Applied Digital. The same thing happened for Tesla. Most of the stocks this morning had this drop down, okay, correction or retest. Think about it. Yesterday, the market was on fire. It was nothing but green day, right? And I think we all sort of came into today wondering what's going to happen today. Is it going to continue on this uptrend, which is to the moon, or is it going to stop and retest? And it did. It stopped. It retested. It corrected itself. It went down, and then it turned and it started its way up. And you can see here in the S&P 500 at about noontime, lunchtime, it started to make that turn back up. It leveled off. It dropped back down towards the end of the day. Now, Nvidia was driving a lot of this activity today because of the anticipation of earnings. And then, boom, you can see here, guys, it literally went from $587 all the way to where it is right now at $593. So amazing S&P 500 results today. And again, driven by Nvidia. So let's go to Nvidia so I can show you guys what that looks like. Okay. Again, sort of the same trend from yesterday into the post market, dropped down into the pre-market, ran up in pre-market, had this drop down, not as significant as the S&P 500 or some of the other stocks that we'll take a look at together. And then it sort of just ran horizontal today for most of the day, a little bit up towards the end of the market day, and then it dropped. And then boom, here's that explosion I was telling you about. Opened up at $134.81, went all the way to $143. I got out as soon as it hit the 140 mark. I sold it and got out, and I did really well. Actually, made over $800 something in it for today. So where I was and to today was about $800, 800 plus to my account. So not unhappy about that at all. But now I am waiting for it to drop back down so I can get back in and then let those stocks continue to ride. By the end of the year, we believe it'll be over $200. I'm hoping to get back in at where it was. It's still up at about $141 per share right now. It closed at $134. So obviously I was at $134 with mine. And and got out at 140. I don't want to get back in at 140, right? Because I took profit from 134 to 140. I wanted to get back down to about 134, 135. So that way, all of my, the profit I got, about $5 per share, I can keep that, and probably use that to buy multiple shares, additional shares. So that's what I'm looking at. Let's go to the average Joe day trade stocks. All right, I'm just going to kind of run down the list with you here and show them to you one by one. GTX, Garrett Motion, really didn't have a very good day today. With the news, which this was really kind of weird, with the Nvidia news, it did crack. It went from 1084 all the way to 1128 and then immediately settled back down. That was kind of weird. I happened to notice that in my scanner. A little bit weird because Garrett Motion, it does have some AI based technology, but they make turbochargers for vehicles. So a little bit unusual that happened. But anyway, today was not a very good day trade day for Garrett Motion for GTX. Ford, sort of the same thing. Had a good opportunity to make some money midday, but that was about it. $10.15. Could have ran it all the way up to, let's see here, about $10.25. So really not a big swing, a 10-cent swing. And at $10, you're probably not going to buy a whole lot of it. And that is what it is. APLD. So APLD, and I actually told the guys I traded with, this was violent for me. Okay. APLD pretty much, had a bit of an uptrend in the pre-market. And then it was just an absolute roller coaster, downhill skiing, on a sled in the snow without any controls, hoping to hit a rubber tire in front of a tree and not the tree itself. And it continued all the way down to $7.15. My brother-in-law got in at $7.19. I got in at $7.22 and was able to ride this all the way up to a high point today of about $7.41. So made some pretty good money in APLD today. But like I've shared with you guys, I trade APLD every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't at least dip my toes in the water and buy some shares, and get in and get out of it. Today, I went heavy in APLD. I was in about 1,450 shares. Glad I did because it gave a positive result. Closed at 727, sitting at 740 right now. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. But again, I've always told you, and when you listen to me, every day APLD just about opens and drops and then spends most of the rest of the day running up. Did not fail us today. Same thing, violently dropped and it spent most of the day kind of running up. So APLD is my favorite and a good one, and I should always have that first on the list. CX, CEMEX, this is the concrete company. Did not trade this at all today. It just did not run in a trade where I would have got in and out of it. BBAI. Okay, so BBAI, I showed you yesterday, I made money in BBAI. I was expecting BBAI to do a lot better today. It did not. Once it ran down with everything else this morning, it sort of didn't recover from that. Now, let me tell you why I'm actually happy about that, because I can actually trade this one tomorrow at a lower dollar threshold, right? So it closed at 414. It's sitting at 425 right now in the post market. That's okay. We'll kind of see what it does post into pre-market and tomorrow morning. But a $4 per share stock that we know is going to have a good run up, run down most days. Okay. I'm not disappointed. And BBAI, guys, is one of those that I do call a day trade stock, but often will end up swing trading it, meaning I will buy in today and sometimes at the end of the market day, and then I will wait for it to do its thing through the pre-market into post-market into pre-market and sell it in the pre-market and get out before it has potential to do this drop. Not financial advice, guys, sharing with you my journey. JTAI is another one, kind of a lateral, just sort of a horizontal day for it today. Again, didn't recover from the drop. SLDB did. SLDB, everyone was talking about SLDB, Solid Bioscience. Not sure what the total excitement was for it, but it did really, really well today. Let me get off the auto, pull it down. It actually started off at about $3.05, ran all the way up here to $3 and almost 29 cents, guys. Nice day, closed at 326, sitting at 322. Keep your eye on this one. I know a lot of times when the tech stocks are running down, a lot of the bioscience and medical stuff are running up. Just like I've shared with you, that when I know I'm having a bad day in tech stocks, I'm going to utilities. I'm going to buy something like natural gases, oils, things like that, that potentially do very well. MYNZ, Maine's Biomed. This one again, like I've shared with you, I'm in it. Didn't really do anything for me today. I'm kind of gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna continue to monitor this one for another week or so, and this may be one we pull off the list. And just I've got this as a longer term hold. Warren Buffett bought a bunch of this stock. It's dealing with cancer research and cures and things like that, so there's a really good potential for that. And one day this thing could totally explode, but it's at $2. Right now $2 and almost 6 cents. I'm just not feeling the same about this as a day trade stock. GFAI, Guard Force, though, did have a pretty incredible run today. It ran up pretty much from market open and then hit this monstrosity of a candle in the 15-minute. And it actually wicked all the way up to $1.32. So if you see down here, you started at the bottom end of this, opening up at $1.21 and ran all the way up here to $1.32. Yeah, it's only 11 cents, but still a good opportunity to make some money. Closed at 126, sitting at 128. Keep your eye on that. Penny stock, dollar stock. Okay. My size, MYSZ, not to be confused with MYNZ. This one, I kind of pulled it up and looked at it a couple times today, but I don't like anytime you have this type of volatility. There's no real candle action, as far as a price action. But it is what it is. It's a penny stock. So I'm going to continue to track and trend it and see. It did have a good day. I mean, it did run up pretty much from, about $1.24 up here to, about $1.27. But not enough for me to be in the game. So again, we'll continue to see, and this one may fall off the list too. All right, REKR, Reeker, is our last one here. And again, another one that sort of just did the horizontal mambo for us, guys. It didn't move, didn't go anywhere, didn't really do a whole lot. It actually started, it was a little bit higher when it opened, closed lower than what it started, $1.14, sitting at $1.16. Not one that really, guys, I'm 100% interested in right now, but we're going to continue to monitor it. So do your trend analysis, guys. Mark your support, mark your resistance, read your candlesticks. These are pretty cheap. So again, I wouldn't tell you guys not to trade these. But for me, the way they look right now in the charting, not for me. Now, I guess if I go to the 1 minute, maybe it looks different, right? It could be a totally different feel in the 1 minute chart, right? But I only use the 1 minute and the 5 minute to make decisions on where my entry point is. And then I'll come into the 5 minute and 1 minute sometimes to see, hey, is it time to get out? But I'm always in the 15, 30 minute watching the candles to understand. Because if you're in a 1 and 5 minute and you see things are green and red and green and red and green and red, at least in the 15 minute, you can see that full candle and see, where the sellers are pushing the stock down in a green candle, or even a red candle, buyers are pushing it back up to know potentially what the stock's going to do. This is just, again, not one that I'm super excited about right now. Let me real quick show you guys my long stocks for you, just so you kind of see what's going on. We talked about these are really good for longer, trade opportunity for you for retirement or to kind of build wealth on. So Microsoft, Microsoft Corp, MSFT, because of the Nvidia news, it kind of launched. It had a really interesting down day today, and then towards the end it started running up. And in this aftermarket, let's get out of the 1 minute, go back to 15. You can see in this aftermarket, it just had really a beautiful action and running up. But again, very expensive stock. Tesla, same thing. Tesla, I'm in that, and I've got Tesla stock as a long-term hold. Dropped down, kind of ran up, dropped down, kind of ran up. It followed the S&P 500 pretty similarly, and then it spent the post-market with Nvidia running up, which is weird because although Tesla are electric vehicles and they do have AI technology, Nvidia chips that Elon Musk uses, you would think they wouldn't run as parallel, but they do. Waste management, guys. Waste management. Always need your garbage picked up. Didn't have much of a fun day. The first half of the day, it did have a good run up. in the midday. But at the end of the day, nice candle, okay? But it's still closed lower than where it opened. And again, this is a longer term trade, not a day trade. I treat everything like a day trade. I talk about everything like it's a day trade, but it's not. Google or Alphabet, guys, you see, follow that Nvidia trend. Procter Gamble, not so much. Procter Gamble is not affected by AI and by chips and by that technology. So it had a nice launch at first open. And if you got in and got out of that, for somebody that would want to potentially day trade a stock this high, great. But it sort of spent the day running down. So another one to consider. Nvidia, obviously, we talked about. NTNX, Nutrinix. This one, in post market closing had some volatility here of upward mobility, but didn't really do a whole lot today. And Rely, RELY, was kind of a dog today. Now, here's the thing, guys, about these long term stocks. Buy them because they're, number one, in a dip. So I recommend, and I will be looking back through these later tonight to make some decisions about some of these based on the trend, that I will be buying some of these shares to add to my portfolio because they are down right now. Now, if it's a 1 day down and the rest of the days, potentially you go back and they're lower and it was up higher and then came back a little bit, probably not one that I'll buy into. But if it shows some consistency where this dip is a good time to buy, it's on discount because it's going to run back up, I'm going to buy it. Consider that as well. Anyway, guys, listen, thank you so much for joining the video. Check out our training playlist for candlestick training and the training we completed on support and resistance levels, how I do that easily. And if you want to know all about my day trade strategy, go back to the very first video I made, the intro video. Guys, I promise you, I know it's a 30+ minute video to watch, but I go nuts and bolts, A to Z, my entire strategy, how I select stocks, how I review the stocks, how I trend them. And it might be helpful for you just to see my strategy. I won't tell you I win every day, but with stocks like APLD and some other amazing companies, I win in those small wins every day. At least $100 is my goal every day per stock that I trade. And yesterday was a great day. Made probably close to $500-600. You can watch the video that I posted last night and you can see those results. And today, probably made close to $1,000, including my Nvidia earnings that took place in effect today when they announced earnings. So anyway, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload another video. Guys, thank you for being here. God bless. See you tomorrow. Josh out.